I arrived at the Timothy Initiative in September of 2014. I came to George and met with him in his office with my mother. She basically told George that you need to help my son because he is not allowed back in my life until he gets his act together. And when I showed up to Ybor House, I was greeted by some friends that I had known from previous recovery meetings and other rehabilitation centers. And they were different. They were treating me differently. And I knew right then and there that there was something different about this place. The Timothy Initiative was started in 2010 by George Wood. He had an idea that he wanted to help people, whether they came from different walks of life, whether it was incarceration, addiction, any type of brokenness. And he believed that the core foundation of recovery was community. So he started bringing guys into a house and to live together. As the Timothy Initiative progressed, George came up with a floor plan for the Timothy Initiative, and the floor plan consisted of 4 pillars: community, discipleship, recovery, and work therapy. These 4 pillars were all based off of life experiences that we should all encounter in a certain lens through Jesus. The recovery one is following what we need to do in order to achieve the next right step. It's a very easy but also difficult kind of pillar to adhere by. The community one is pretty self-explanatory. It's just making sure that you stay well connected with the guys around you so that there is a certain level of accountability in your actions and there's a certain level of integrity in your actions. The work therapy one, which is one of my favorite ones, is teaching guys how to do the basics of getting up every single morning, showing up, showing out, and doing it over and over and over again. A lot of people don't talk about the recovery trenches of monotony. They don't talk about how difficult it is to get up every single day and do it over and over again. And discipleship is a super important one as well, because if you've learned anything in community and recovery, you know that you have to be able to bring that message to other people. You have to be able to pour out what was so eagerly poured into you early on. And these 4 pillars, I like to think they hold up this path that we are trying to follow Jesus on. Sobriety is not the end goal, not for us and not for Jesus. We like to look at recovery more holistically. Sometimes that looks like helping with mental health. Sometimes that looks like with legal matters. Sometimes we like to have an event where we can bring not only the guys, but we can bring their families along too, so that they get a chance to see what they're doing with their life and how they're trying to help themselves become this renewed man. The men that I meet at Timothy Initiative and that I've walked alongside of for years, there's a transformation that cannot be described in any other way than a full rebirth through Jesus. He reached his hand out in our darkest times, and all he asked was for us to reach our hand out to him. And in doing so, he didn't teach us how to get sober. He taught us how to live a completely different life. And when he reaches his hand out and finds out that it's Jesus, Jesus just asks him, if you want to live, live for me, because the old life was not a life. And through the Timothy Initiative, we teach you how to be that new man.